Welcome to the Rich Life Realization Podcast. Today I have a exciting guest, Amanda Garguilo. She is a weight loss coach. If you listen to the last episode, she just will help you connect with yourself and create that deep healing, that deep connection, using principles from yoga to help you lose weight, feel better about yourself, or maybe gain weight and create that positive relationship with food. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you for having me. That was the perfect description too. Thank you.
Yeah. You're awesome. And I was talking with her earlier. It's just so needed because I was in the weight loss industry for years, and I saw just so many of the challenges that people had. And it's not that quick fix. It's something that you want to connect with yourself and find yourself in.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a journey, and I feel like I'm still on it every day. It's like finding the balance, right? Because there's no magic pill, there's no diet, right? It's a
Mhm.
lifestyle, it's a choice.
Yeah. So for today, we're going to dive in, spend a few minutes diving into something that you would like to see more clarity around, something that you feel like might benefit your life. And I'll guide you in any way that I can. I'm going to use, like in the last episode, you described it kind of really wonderfully, that I will connect with myself, and that part of me will connect with you. And we'll look at that together from that perspective. So for today, what would you like more clarity around?
I don't know. I feel like you have to do a little bit of digging, and it might be a little bit of a challenge for you because I don't really know. Like, I know I'm looking for clarity around how do I market my program, right? How do I market what I'm offering? But I don't know if that's really what you mean, because what I offer is not just like weight loss coaching, right? It's like what you said, it's all these different things. But I don't
Yeah.
know if that's what you mean, or if you mean like something, clarity around something in my own life, like in my own mindset.
I'll let you decide if you want to, because I feel like we can talk about the marketing. That's phenomenal. How to connect with your audience, connect with the people who would love to have you help them. We can definitely do that.
Yeah, let's do it then.
All
I
right.
mean,
All
that's
right.
what I'm working on professionally right now on my own, and it
Mhm.
keeps showing up. So maybe that's what I need to do.
Okay. Okay. So you would like more clarity around it. How are you seeing it right now?
Muddled. It's all it's all muddled because I feel like I really do value connection to my clients. I think that like when I can help somebody have an aha moment and realize that they're like they could make changes in bite-sized pieces and it doesn't have to be overwhelming, I get like it lights me up. It lights me on fire when I can help somebody open themselves up to possibility in their lives. And they're like, oh, and they have breakthroughs and they don't even realize they're having a breakthrough. Like I'll stop them. I'll be like, wait a second, did you realize what you just said? Like I love to acknowledge that. I'm like, there's things in life need to be like, even these small moments, like what you and I spoke about this before we started, like we hopped onto this podcast, right? About awareness. For me, it's like about presence. It's about realization, right? Like my husband just had a realization yesterday and he calls me and he's like, I feel like I've been a terrible husband. And I was like, no, you have not been a terrible husband. I'm like, if anything, you've been open and incredible because you're willing to communicate about it in the moment when you feel a certain way. I'm like, so now you have awareness around this issue, right? That we're having. So now it's your choice. Do you make the change from this awareness, or do you continue to show up the way you were in the past?
Hmm.
So like that to me is that's a breakthrough.
Yeah. And you help clients have those breakthroughs.
Yeah.
So then what is the disconnect? Because I'm hearing that you are approaching this through awareness, that you help people have these realizations that improve their lives. What is the disconnect? I'm not seeing it.
I don't know. Maybe I just need to hear you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, how do I continue to connect to more people that are looking for this?
Sure. So connecting to more people is what you would like to do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's pretty doable. How have you been trying to connect to people now?
I guess through like a lot of people are telling me keep posting on social media, but maybe I really do. I feel like I'm finding that I need to get out there more. And now I have a YouTube channel. And I'm like, how can I help more people with content? And so I want to continue to provide value in bite-sized pieces, because I feel like a lot of us now with technology and everything being so quick, we have really short attention spans. So it's like, how can I get out something of value very quickly?
Mm-hmm. Yes and no, because there are people who binge entire TV shows.
True.
There are people who listen to podcasts like maybe this one for hours at a time.
That's true. So maybe it's my lie. My lie is that I have to do this, right? I should all over myself, right? And shoulding, I don't know. It's not necessarily the most supportive thing, right? For my goals. So maybe I need to get out of my own way.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my coaches, and they think that the enemy of my clients is should.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do that so often that we think we have to do something because somebody else has. But maybe that's not necessarily true in our situation. Maybe we have our own unique way to express it. And maybe the way to express it is through those traditional venues that other people have seen success, and maybe not.
Wow. I feel like I just had a rich realization.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Like I feel like I just realized that I'm accepting other people's truth as my own.
Hmm.
And I have a lie I don't trust. It's a lie that constantly shows up. And we were just talking about it. Trust is my word. Trust and balance are my two words. So how do I learn to trust myself?
And it's very practical. Like when, as the coach, we kind of set our own schedules, right? We kind of have put this time aside for this and this time aside for this. And so if you were thinking maybe you're lacking trust in yourself, and then that's showing up as you spending a whole bunch of time doing this. Tell me more about that.
Spending a whole bunch of time doing.
Like, what is it that you're doing?
I feel like sometimes I sit and stare at the blank screen. I'm like, what do I do next? It's like what, too much question, not enough action. Too much concern, not enough focus. Do the thing, right? Like I practice yoga. Yoga talks about just do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just do the thing that you're most passionate about. Get rid of the negative talk. Get rid of the peanut gallery, right? And just go after what's showing up. for you.
Because we limit ourselves like that. In the approach that I like to take, we see that peanut gallery, this negative self-talk, even the positive self-talk, is kind of just noise. It's made of thought. Thought is this incredible power that we have that can look real to us. It's like, if we have that negative thought of, sometimes it's, who do I think I am? But we can look back and see that it's kind of just thought. And there's a really great metaphor that I liked, that I think I heard from maybe Michael Neal, and he talks about how it's kind of like elevator music, that you get into the elevator and you're not like jamming to the music. You're not like, yeah, this is great, but you're not like, I hate this music. What if a lot of our mental noise was just noise?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, if it's just noise, it's not serving a purpose, it's not doing anything. And then we engage with it, right? Because the mind is a thinking entity. How many thoughts do we have a day, right? It's meant to think. That's what we do. Most of it is, for me, I guess what's showing up is like ego, right? Because I was apprehensive to get on to do this with you, to come onto the podcast, to talk to you, to tell you my story. My lies were showing up all over the place, right? It was like, oh, you talk too fast. You're all over the place. But all you had to say to me was, you said two things to me. And I was like, whoa, Amanda, like, whoa, you said, show up as yourself. You're enough. Is that a reminder? You are enough, right? Because all these lies are, you're not enough. And then I was like, oh, well, oh no, he's videotaping it. I just came out of a yoga class. Look what I look like. But does that really matter? Is that offering any value? Right? What's most important? Like, this is who I am. I'm showing up as myself. What if I accept myself exactly as I am? What could I create and open myself up to from there if I'm not wasting time with all the other noise? Because we waste so much time. Like, even as a yoga instructor, I tell my students when they're sweating, I'm like, don't adjust your shirt. You're wasting time. Don't wipe your sweat. What if you showed up for the pose instead of worrying about fixing your hair tie? But that's all, that extra stuff is just noise. It's not serving a purpose.
I love how you're talking about, and your wisdom on that. I can just have it's a different come from, right? I can come from the personal mind and my own thoughts, and the judgments and the fear, or I can come from who I am.
Powerful statement. And it's like, as a coach, you being a coach, right? So a mirror for me, right? So like, as we talk through it, I just learned something. I just had a moment of awareness, right? And when I get out of my own head, it gives me access to actually connecting to the person across from me, because I'm more focused on you. I'm not focused on the negative back talk, because that takes us out. It takes us out of the present moment. It takes us out of true connection.
Yeah.
And it's all just noise.
Are you listening to yourself, or are you listening to the person next to you?
You're asking this in most situations in my life or right now, right?
I think that's what we do, is we're listening, and we all think we're really good listeners. But 99% of the time we're listening to the thoughts in our head.
Absolutely. And how many of us are listening to respond?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What does it mean to actually be an active listener?
And this, in my opinion, this very much so connects with the challenge that you brought forward. Because are you listening to yourself as you are trying to help other people, as you're putting some of this content out there, as you're deciding what you want to do with your day to help other people? Or are you listening to the shoulds, or are you listening to that deeper well of wisdom, of in the moment guidance?
No. I am completely and totally playing like the sometimes listen to the should, sometimes listen to myself. Sometimes like internally, I'll know what I want, but fear. But what I want to do doesn't guarantee financial freedom. Right. I'm like, oh, but I'm scared. Oh, but being an entrepreneur can be terrifying. Right? Like working for yourself, nothing's guaranteed. But I feel like if I continue to play the game of I'm dipping my toe in, am I actually committing?
Okay, I kind of want to go two places with this one. So the first one is maybe seeing if there is a reflection, because you'd said a kind of a powerful statement that doesn't necessarily have any power because it's made of thought. And that statement was you can't be too skinny enough and you can't be too rich enough. That was what your friend told you in the last episode.
Yeah, my mom. Mm-hmm.
Your mom told you. And so is that playing out here?
Oh, hello. I was only looking at one side of that.
Mm-hmm.
I never dug into the second part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Mind blown. So much emphasis was placed on the first part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're good. We probably already knew that.
It's
I mean, that's
not
why
me.
you do
It's
this,
not
right?
me. It's not me. It's not my personal mind.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It is what's coming through.
Yeah, and I absolutely love this work.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seemed like that kind of hit something. Tell me a little bit more, and then I want to have a second piece to it.
Okay, so what's showing up is that I've always had an attachment to money. Right, and I want to say have because it doesn't necessarily mean that's the way I'm going to be moving forward now that I have a huge awareness around this. But growing up, my father would get laid off every few months, every like 6 months. He was in the electrical union. and the electricians would get laid off for lack of work. So they had to let other people work. So we were never really, we just say like comfortable, because we knew my father was going to get laid off. So we had to do what we had to do to make sure that there was enough money for when he got laid off. So we were always raised with this hypersensitivity around money. And my husband actually calls me out on it constantly. He comes from this place of like making me aware that I have concern about money.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they say? Like attachment breeds, like it doesn't create space for money to show up in your life if you have an attachment to something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but like that's what I've learned in the past. And he recently just said to me, we just bought our first townhouse. Like we just bought our first home together. And it was a huge achievement. It was really, really exciting time. And he actually said to me, he's like, you're so worried about making more money and teaching more classes and teaching more classes. But is that what's getting in the way of me really diving headfirst into entrepreneurship?
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Could be, right? Somewhere to be something to journal around, something to be in the looking at, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then the second part that I feel like is kind of important, because you might kind of create something around it and get lost in it, which is that judgment, especially the judgment of only dipping your toe or not doing enough.
Mm.
We talked earlier about how people are operating with the best that they have. And that there's an innocence to it, and that it's okay. So can it be okay? Can it be okay that you've been operating this way? And you still might a little bit.
Yeah, I guess yes, but I am my own worst critic. Aren't so many of us our own worst critics? I feel like the way that we speak to ourselves, we would never speak to anybody else that way.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm actually looking at the book right here. The Untethered Soul by Singer talks about like taking the voice in your head and putting them on a couch next to you. And if you heard somebody talking like the way that you talk to yourself, if you put that voice on the couch, would you actually be friends with them? Like, I would never be friends with that person. So mean. But that's my internal dialogue, right? Monologue, I'm talking to myself. But yeah, so I love that. Can I be okay with the way that I'm showing up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I can't be compassionate with myself, how can I be compassionate with anybody else?
Yeah. You're going to show up for your clients, for yourself. And it's almost, there's an element to it of when it feels bad, that is not showing you that it's true. Because we think that that's a validation of, oh, I'm going to hurt myself with my own thinking. I'm going to judge myself. And that hurts. But that hurt is not showing you the truth of the judgment. It is actually showing you the opposite. It is showing you that that thought is not in alignment with who you really are. When I realized that, so much of it just dropped, just melted.
I love that, because if like that's what you accept, there's no space for judgment.
Mhm. Well, and it's helpful. It's showing your emotions are showing you when it's off.
And I say these things constantly to clients. And it's like, how do you take it on? My husband says it to me too, all the time. He's like, do you ever listen to your own teachings? I'm like, not really. Right. It's like all the things that, and I have like little YouTube snippets, right? And like things on Instagram and all these things that I'm teaching others. And it's like, maybe it's actually me talking to myself.
And then listen to yourself.
That's the work, right? That right there is like, it's, I can listen to it, but am I really receiving it and taking it on?
Listen to it not from your personal mind, not in data storage mode. Listen to it from your infinite mind, who you really are. Because you probably are sharing truth.
It's so interesting because like when you speak about like my truth and my center and who I am, like 3 words pop into my head every single time. And it's presence, connection, and authenticity. That's who I am. And I know that internally, like that makes me feel lit up. It's like if it's making me feel good, like that's sorry, that's real, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's on do not disturb, but it's fine. Okay. So yes, so those 3 words are real to me. That's what who I want to show up as.
Cool. Are you going to show up that way every single day? Probably not.
No.
You're human. You're one of us humans.
Right.
And that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it feels like. And you know what it doesn't feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if you're outside of that feeling in the lostness. You will be brought back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it never leaves you.
Right. Yeah, I think it went away for a while and now you reminded me. So here it is again. Right? I have this amazing yoga instructor, Kira Lee. She's like one of my mentors actually. And she always says, I'm just a spirit having a human experience. It's like so beautiful. And that's why it comes in and out, because we're in this human experience. We're human.
Yeah. And that's cool. Or having a human experience is one of the coolest things you can do as spirit.
Isn't it though? Like it's such an awesome way of verbalizing what's happening.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that a lot of what was there before has kind of settled.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It kind of fell away.
Yeah. That's cool. That is your anchor. That is who you are. Sometimes there's noise on top, but that is always underneath the surface, like the sun behind the clouds. It's still daylight out, even though you can't see the sun directly. And the clouds pass. That's what they do. You can't hurry them. try to blow the clouds away. I'm just wasting breath.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's all just noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll remember that, and then we'll forget.
Mm-hmm.
The best part ever is that it'll show us. It'll show us when we're not connected. I'm so glad.
Yeah, so now, like selfishly, right? I'm like, how do I keep getting this? How do I keep connecting? How do I continue? Right? It's like, it's never enough, right? It's like I had this beautiful moment. Now I'm like, well, this is what I want to continue to create, right? To keep widening my circle of connection.
And you can. It goes down infinitely,
Mm-hmm.
but you really just have to get out of your way to experience it. And when it comes, have gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And when it leaves, that's okay too.
Incredible.
So thank you for being on the Rich Life Realization podcast today.
Thank you for having me. This has been,
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'm lit up. So this has been an incredible experience. So thank you. I don't really think I did very much.
No, you did. I didn't light you up. It was you the whole time.
Mhm. Exactly what I tell my clients, right? What did I do? Nothing. I just showed up to hold space, right? So I need to learn to accept that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thanks again. And we'll, if you want to connect with Amanda, we put on your website again. Tell us your website.
So you could either go to my name, amandagargiulo.com, Gargiulo, or you could go to the business website, which might be a little bit easier to spell, just nourishyoursoulwellness.com.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again. This has been absolutely eye-opening and a phenomenal experience.
Yeah. Wonderful.